Here's exactly how I use GPT's new AI-generated feature to generate over 50 Facebook static ads in under just a couple of minutes. If you're new to the channel, you don't yet know who I am. My name is Justin Lalonde, and I'm the founder at pitadvertising.com, where on the one hand, we help businesses implement a scalable ad engine, and on the other, we grow ecom and info businesses to multi-seven figures with paid ads. With that being said, we've profitably spent and advised on over $15 million in ad spend in the last year, and let's get straight into the video. Before we even get into this video, I want to highlight how everything has been moving to creative strategy now in the ad space for the better part of the last 2 years. My main point is the following. We already know that media buyers' jobs has really transitioned to creative strategy, meaning that ad platforms are pushing media buyers to start utilizing broad targeting to simplify their account structure. And I've proven on this channel for a while now that creative strategy overthrows media buying. But now the same thing is happening to editors. So editors editing static ads for the most part now are being replaced with things like GPT's new AI features, which can generate amazing quality static ads now that are ad ready. You can just download them and upload them straight to your ad account, which is what I'm going to show today. So anybody watching that who is perhaps a marketer, a media buyer, or a video editor, I implore you to start considering creative strategy as the go-to in your day-to-day workflow, okay? What these features actually do and mean in your day-to-day workflow is if you're a killer media buyer now, you're just more efficient because AI has simplified your media buying, allowing you to step out a little bit of the account and focus more on creative strategy. If you're a video editor or a static ad editor for the most part, well, now you can just spend more time in your creative type of work, right? You can start ideating about what you want AI to generate for you instead of playing with Photoshop, Canva, or Illustrator as an example. And so I'll stop myself right there, let you watch the video, which is actually a recording of a call I had less than 24 hours after GPT or OpenAI released this new feature with our private ad engine inner circle clients. So good viewing and see you at the end. Well, let's get it started. Today's an exciting day, to be honest. I don't know if you guys have been looking as deep into all this AI stuff that I've been sharing about yesterday, but to be honest, it is crazy. I want to spend most of my time today essentially to talk about like what are the possibilities, like what does this exactly mean for us marketers, and more specifically, how can we use it as advertising for physical product businesses. I think this is going to mainly be a game changer for physical product businesses, but also perhaps to digital products as well. So I'll pull up a couple of links to share with you essentially like some of the stuff that I've seen. I've seen a couple of guys, but one mainly, his name is Jacob Pozell, which I've just been looking into kind of some of the stuff that he did over the last day or so. So I'll share with you a few examples first of what has been done and what is essentially possible with AI, and then kind of show you some of the stuff that I've done on my side and what it means. So let me share screen real quick. Cool. Okay. Awesome. All right. Let me just see. I don't think you can actually see that. Can I do it again? Cool. Can you see my screen? Yeah? Awesome. Okay, awesome. So for those of you who don't know, yesterday at the time of recording this video, or doing this presentation, if you want, with you guys, GPT under the 4.0 model, they released a new image generation tool that is much more accurate than anything we've seen before. It understands if you give it a product or any sort of context, it understands the words on the labels, can put this object or person into context. And you're going to see real quick that, especially for product businesses, I'm thinking, let's say Beowulf as an example, who's here, Simon, a lot of the Ecom, brands that you might be working with, and same for, others on the call. It's going to be pretty useful once again for you guys. So what I want to show you is a few examples of prompts and results so far. And so that, just again, to kind of show you what's possible. I think a lot of the time when I explain some AI stuff, a lot of people are like, yeah, but so what? Like, how does that actually benefit me concretely? I'll give you an example. While playing with it on my side, typically the simpler the prompts, the better the results I had. So as an example, you give it an image of a wallet here from Ridge, right? Create a fun cartoon ad using this image. And this is what GPT gives you. Now, if you know anything about GPT before, this, which is the text that literally is found on this image, would have been looking like all fucked up before. Now, does that mean that it's perfect? No, it's not. It's not fully perfect here. With a little bit of Photoshop, though, you can make this pretty perfect with it. Typically, what I found is if it gets the text wrong on the label, since yesterday night, when I just ask it to change the text, it does it. It does it very well. So that's like example number one. I'll get back to this one a little later. So example number two, all of these ads, there's not a single ounce of Photoshop in there. It's all made with this new thing by GPT. Every single one of them with it. If I show you here as an example for the brand Udi, which you guys might know of, getting like the Udi put, let's say for one of those campaigns on some of the biggest statues as an example in the world. I mean, look at the shading. Look at everything around that product. It fits well. And the shading is like A1. Keep it going right here, right? Image of the rock holding a tequila. You say, hey, just hold this bottle instead. This is exactly what it gives you. And now you're like, hey, put this image that you just made and make it into this exact same style of this ad right here. Replace this woman in this ad. Boom. It's exactly what GPT gives you. It's pretty fucking crazy once again. Now here, can you make this into a McDonald's ad? All of this, the logo and the text and all of this, added by AI. I'm gonna keep it going. Right here, uploading this picture, literally this like blurry ass random picture of a product and saying, transform that into an ad. That's what it gives you. I'm gonna keep it going. I'll have two more examples, right? Here's a picture of a hat. Here's our logo. Create an image, make it old Western style, add a heading, subheading, logo. Do not change the hat, and then, boom, that's what you got. It's pretty fucking good once again. Like this, we're talking. When I say good, by the way, I mean, is this usable in an actual ad? And does it look close enough to the real product to be, again, usable? Absolutely. And I'll wrap things up with this one. Create a tasteful Sudoku style digital ad using this image. Here's what it gives you, which is again, pretty sick. Okay. So there's a few more examples out there, but what this means and like concretely, like what can you do out of this? Well, one, if I'm a drop shipper now, right? We all know drop shippers love to steal ads from competitors. I mean, shit, this is incredibly easy now. Static ads, the game of static ads has just been changed. You can pretty much steal any competitor's ads, just upload a PNG of your product and then say to sub in your product on this ad. It's going to do it immaculately and pretty much instantly with it. So it's the first use case for it. But we all know, as mentioned in Ad Engine, that copying is level one of advertising. It's not going to be the thing that's really going to get you to the next level with your brand. So then what comes next? Formulation and or what comes next, after that, ideation. If you guys remember, I shared I would like to say maybe a week or two ago, some stuff on Atria, where I was talking about how with Atria now you can analyze. So we've removed actually a few of our brands, I believe, from here. But if you go on any accounts on Atria, you have those features now where you can break down your ads by like all the information that is available on them, like emotions, messaging, so on and so forth. So let me try and find you an actual live example of this right here. And it's going to be easier for me to then show you how this looks like. Okay. So this was one of the clients that I had shared a couple of weeks back. So you go on Atria, you have an ad that you have right here from your own business, which you can open up and you can generate an AI recommendation based on a past static ad that you have, which AI is going to give you some advice as an example about what should you do on this ad. Add a time-sensitive offer as an example. Showcase a USP, social proof, so on and so forth. Now, I could actually start that right here, but what I can do is I can copy my image as an example, go to GPT, paste that image in here, go back here, copy those recommendations, give them to GPT, and I'm going to formulate a prompt as an example. So here are recommendations on changing this ad. Please create a new image, a new ad that respects these recommendations. Cool. So now I'm just going to clean this up. as an example. Now, again, this is like a bunch of random stuff that I'm saying right here, meaning 1, 2. So there's a lot of stuff like add a time-sensitive offer, highlight limited stock, emphasize validation, so on and so forth. I can probably not do all of that together, but let's say I'm going to give it 2 of these things. I'm just going to get it started right here and then see if it starts before I move out to another thread and let this complete the background. How do you know whether or not you have this? Okay, now it's going to give me a text. I'll show you in another thread in a second. How do you know whether or not you have it? It's as I showed you in the Loom that I sent yesterday in the in Slack. So to know whether or not you have this said feature, it's simply you have to pick 4.0 as the model. And whenever you're going to ask it to generate any form of image of whatnot with it, it's going to take time to load, and it has to start loading from top to bottom. If you see anything else, then you don't have the model yet on your account. So they're doing a gradual rollout with this. But since playing with it, here's an example. Nick, you're probably going to laugh at that because we were at this event together a little while ago. This is a picture of me smoking a cigar as an example. And I was like, turn me into an A24 Mafia-like dark movie poster. Here's what I got. That's an example from it, which is, again, pretty fucking crazy, according to this original image. Now, if I keep on going, so I'm going to bring you a few more that I did since yesterday. So hang on. I'll bring that up right here. Okay. So this one, from one of my clients, the client I just showed you. Here's the picture of the product. Create a sensual ad for this product of ours. Have the product on a romantic bed with rose petals in the background. What looks to be 2 people dressed classy laid on top of each other, blurred in the background. Now, I stretched it. What's crazy, actually, is the image was almost all fully generated. And I kid you not, I had 2 naked people in the background. It stopped, and then it said, I can't do that because of my policies. So I think there's still some stuff that you need to fix with their algorithm. But then I have to kind of tweak it to make it less, sex-oriented. And that's what I got with it. So from a photography standpoint, I'm thinking if I'm an ecom brand now, I don't really need to do much more than just getting a render of the product. So as long as I have a very realistic render or one shot of the product, I can pretty much turn it into whatever I want. I can do lifestyle shots. I can add that on a model, so on and so forth, essentially from it. So that's one example right here of I added this headline at the top just for the sake of it, but I could very well ask GPT to remove that and just have this kind of lifestyle image now that I can use either on my website or through ads. So you can start seeing now, again, the cost, the barrier to entry in the e-commerce space has just dramatically lowered once again. It's like, I want to start an e-com brand right now. I either want to drop shit or I perhaps even carry my own stock, but I don't want to have to pay thousands in photographers and whatever. Fuck it. Now there's like very easily I can do some lifestyle photo shoots, with AI. So it's an example of that. Other ones, which is exactly what I showed yesterday in the Loom video. So if you haven't watched it yet, I invite you to do so, which was in the Slack channel. This is a product picture of one of my clients, which is not the best product picture altogether, but nonetheless, I gave it an ad of a competitor, which is Obvi. I was like, hey, sub in their product for mine and just change the headline to no more IBS. It's exactly what I have. Now, once again, Multi-Blue Probiotic Fit promotes metabolic healthy. So again, I would have to probably change a little bit the text. So text is the one thing where sometimes it's a little off, but not always. Look at this. This was like perfect with it. Same thing, no more IBS. The money guarantee here, again, a little weird. So I would have to like change that a little bit with it. But we're almost to the point where on the first go, it's good. Every time I've had something like this where you can just ask it to change the text on the image or whatnot, it typically does it. Kind of going back to some of the use cases or some of the ways in which this can be used, I now want to leave you with this video right here that I came across today, actually at 1:07 p.m., which is literally almost right before this meeting that I came across that. If you guys don't know, there's an agency called Common Thread Collective out there. They have a internal tool called Statless. So actually I could probably go Common Thread Collective Statless, which is their own version of like an analysis tool internally, where you not only have all your data plugged in, but they also have features that are like super similar to either what Atria has on an own account or what Atria also has, which I believe I have shared some of the new modules released, is when you go to, let's say, brands that already have tons of ads saved up on there. So you go to here, you also have tons of data about the ads of your competitors. Like how many ads, as an example, do they have of a given persona, and longest running. So as I've done in the new module in Ad Engine, you go longest running persona with the highest amount of ads. So I probably pick this one. I'm like, perfect. I can copy that as an example. Then I can build myself like a massive prompt if you want. So if I could come here as an example, and I could go, I'm gonna put that right here, persona, weight loss seeker as an example, so on and so forth. So I can go here, I can copy the persona, check out again, longest running ad or longest running angle with it here. So let me go here, 56 days, longest running with highest number of ads, which would be this one. So fast visible results. Cool. So I'll go back here. I'm just going to give you an example of what what we could do, because what I did earlier did not work, and I really want to show this live. So longest running USPs, same thing. I could go here, longest running. So perfect USP. I'm gonna go here. So we have persona angle USP. I'm gonna go and grab now desire. Same thing. All the same fundamentals we talk about in Ad Engine. So here, health. Just go back there, desire, health. Cool. I got persona, desire, USP angle. I could talk about positioning. I don't think they do right here, but I could go awareness level, problem where, and then I'm going to go back up and say, I want to create. So actually, before I even do that, you buy a creative pack, let's say something like Creative OS or Creative Donut, which Creative Donut actually is owned by a friend of mine right here. So these are the guys that sell you some creative packs like that, where you can just buy some like pre-made ad if you want from them, and just like plug and play your variables inside of it. So I'm going to go on Creative Donut right here and probably just try and find, let's say something like that. Can I open this? Perfect. So I'm going to copy that. And I'll go, I want to create a static ad with a bold headline, and I need to have 3 benefits of my product. So I'm going to ask it that. I want to create a static Facebook ad for my, what's the product called? Let's say collagen, let's say powder. I want to create a static ad for my collagen powder product. I need you, based on the below information and variables, to write me a short, less than 5 words headline, and to highlight 3 benefits of my product as an example. So we're going to have it do that. Melt fast, glow fast, burn stubborn body fat, blah, blah, blah. Again, I could spend time refining that. I'm not, just for the sake of this example. According to everything that is in Ad Engine, I could spend time to refine that. All of this info I simply got from reverse engineering a competitor. So now I have this. Like, great. I'm going to copy that, go into another thread, copy that here, go there, and then I'm going to find someone else's product. So I'm going to go here, assuming that this is going to be my own product. Cool. Let's say it's going to be a good example of it. Can I copy this image? Okay, I can. So let me go back in GPT. To replace, I want you to add my product to this ad, and to change the headline at the top to, example, this, and to change the 3 benefits. You guys get the gist, right? Change the 3 benefits on the left side to. Cool. So I'm going to let this generate in a sec. I'll bring it back on screen. And then now with that said, I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you guys can check it out. This is the link from Jacob I was talking about from earlier. He does a tutorial, which is literally exactly what I'm showing here. Statlist from Common Thread Collective, they have a tool where you can break down on your own account why a winning ad is a winning ad, what is the persona, desire, pretty much all the fundamentals of this ad. And it even gives you similar ads in this space that you can then, that would fit what the fundamentals you have. And so now it's a perfect recipe for you copy those ads, the ad templates. Would it be coming from Creative OS, Creative Donut, or a suggestion from a tool like Statless or Atria? Copy this ad, bring it to GPT. You copy the analysis of the data that you get from something like Statless or Atria, and you just pretty much ask it to build you a new static ad. And you get from there a pretty fucking great static ad. So again, I'll let this load in a sec and I'll bring it back on screen. But this is like, again, this is me giving you guys an update from something that was released later in the day yesterday, like late afternoon, early evening. So this is like way early with this. I pretty much threw away my entire plan for the call today and I said, let's just focus on that. I once again think this is going to be great for product businesses. And I think anybody here that is in the e-commerce space should definitely look into playing with that for both on-site pictures or ads. There's a lot that you can do with this. And so that's pretty much it for what I wanted to share out here. It's like an early bird preview of what's possible with AI. I'm halfway through the image, by the way. It's almost done on the left-hand side of my screen, so I'll bring that up on screen in a second. But in the meantime, any questions around that? Any comments maybe or ideas? That's also another thing. What use cases do you guys see that this can do that we haven't really talked about yet?
I
Yo,
think, well, first of all, this is incredible. I can't tell you how much it feels like how much wasted time I spend in Canva or Figma trying to do
yeah,
statics,
like
and using tools like, have you heard of I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's creativeeos.io, similar to probably the one you said your friend owned, where they give you like templates or kind of
yep,
packages for statics.
yep,
But that's kind of how I've built out our statics right now, and it's very time consuming. So, and it's
100%.
also on top of that, even with this is also kind of my question for you for the group, honestly. But um, building statics like in Figma or in Canva, and then using product photography, obviously it works well, takes more time. Something that I've noticed recently is that images like I use a studio to do like professional photography for our product images, right?
Mhm.
However, depending on the color scheme and a specific static, I'll notice that if I add, for example, one of our GIFs or one of our lifestyle images on top of a specific static template, it'll sometimes then the image, like the product, will actually appear to be blurry or just it's not super crisp depending on kind of what background is behind it. So I think there's a huge opportunity to just make statics look way more professional without
Yep,
doing a whole new render just for one shot for one static, right? Which
yep.
and then I'm also wondering, Justin, do you think that it's good enough to be able to do kind of its own product renders? Like if you take, let's say, a Canva file and say, hey, here's my label, here's what I want the product to look like, here's my box label design, upload that in.
1000%.
You think it would?
Yeah, I think it would do renders
Wow.
with this.
Okay. I'm gonna
I
try that.
would have to try. I mean, look, this
Yeah.
again, I could tweak the output from there. I just wanted to show you what's possible at a glance with it. Like from what I
Yeah.
gave you earlier, melt fast, glow fast, as an example with it. The text a little cut off at the top, so I could ask it to position this better. This was replaced with my own product. You can see
Mm-hmm.
that there's still some text here is a little fucked up. So I would probably have to like change that. Same thing with the text here. But this text, this text, this text, this here, it's all good. Like it looks good. It's not doesn't look weird by any means.
Yeah.
So, which before we all know that with AI, the text part was always hard. Like it always kind of did weird text.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, this is like a first version of it. But what I'm telling everyone here that is different, and I mean, I could ask it right now to kind of go back and redo it. But with a few trial and errors, I typically, since yesterday night, again, I've been nerding out at it. I always get super accurate text at some point, like after just asking it to redo, redo, and redo. Or you can always just like open it up, highlight a certain part, and say, hey, just like
Mm-hmm.
this text, move it down, as an example. And
Mm-hmm.
so I could describe just to change part of the image and not re-render the entire thing. So
Have you found like the human element, so like the girl behind in that photo, for example, have you found that it does any weird kind of stuff? I used Have you heard of AI Studios? Or yeah, I think it's called AI Studios. Pretty sure.
Um,
It's an AI tool which it's essentially doing the same thing, but I mean it's like replacing, product shoots or lifestyle shoots or model shoots for, e-commerce brands. But
yep.
I find like their model wasn't great. A lot of times the product would be really unrealistic in terms of the size, it'd be weirdly blurry. Sometimes there's weird features on the people. Have you found anything like that with which the GPT?
Yeah, at times with it. I mean,
Mm,
going back to one of the examples that I put in yesterday's Loom that I sent, like this is the product of one of my clients. Coffee, you're on the bench, alcohol, suit up. So light blue, hoodie right here. Typically the client's logo is bottom right. There's a little
mm,
bit of a like a grudge, texture on the actual image. I say create an image of a female model wearing this sweatshirt. That's what it gave me. Okay, no logo. I could easily Photoshop that in. Coffee
yeah.
on the bench, alcohol suit up. The text, everything is like written properly. With a couple tweaks, with very light Photoshop, I can make this look good.
Very good. Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
said it a few. In one of the new modules, I also said that like we use ideogram for generating models because
Mm,
ideogram is typically gives us like the most realistic models. I'm saying that I don't even know. Okay, this is home. I was like, why did the team create all this stuff? This makes more sense now. So I guess those are all images for some of our clients with it. But what
mm,
I said in one of the new models in that engine that I dropped I think last week or 2 weeks ago was like ideogram gives us the most realistic people. Fingers, skin, everything. I mean, look at this. This looks like amazing with it. There's
yeah.
wrinkles. There's even the logos that it gives you. Like you know, image of a middle-aged lady with her iPad looking really happy. Um, I mean, shit, this is an actual iPad. Like, it doesn't look like some fake iPad. It looks like an old iPad though, because I mean, it's the one
Yeah.
with the camera and whatever. But you get the gist. Once again, it's like I would probably, if I wanted to make this look right, I'd combine different models, like ideogram to make the model as like a female or male, and then copy that at GPT. Tell it, hey, here's my product. Here's the person I want you to put the product on, and then combine both together. So the GPT doesn't have to create the model; it already has an example of it. So, and
That's incredible.
technically we saw that earlier, right? With like this example here, which is, hey, here's a
Yeah.
man, turn that into like, which I mean, look, we didn't really lose a lot of detail from that model because the thing is, with something like this, you got to think about even if you provide an image to GPT, GPT has to technically recreate it. So it has to like regenerate. It's not like it edits the image. You know what I mean? Like it actually recreates and
Yeah.
regenerates. And so
Yeah.
this to me looks pretty fucking close to this, what it was given. And I don't know if
Extremely.
this is the one with The Rock as an example. I mean, this is the example, The Rock, the image of The Rock that it was given. It had to recreate this entire image and to change this. But again, it's not like it just changes that. It recreates all of that. So this is the recreated version of The Rock. So when you look at it, I mean, he does have a few wrinkles nonetheless, lines here and whatnot. So like skin tone is not bad. Fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So fingers are fine. You look at
Hmm.
the alpha brain memories, memory and focus. Okay, this is a little fucked in terms of volume right here, but this could be changed again with
Yeah.
Photoshop. So
Yeah.
we're pretty good. It's like very light, very light Photoshop work can fix this. And yeah,
Do you think it'd be possible? I'm gonna try this tonight, but I'm just curious if you've tried it. Do you see? I'm gonna link something in the chat right now. Do you think it'd be able to do motion graphics sort of with 3D renders like on
like
this page here
Brez.
that I just linked? Yeah.
Motion graphics, well, not with GPT specifically. Would it be able
Hmm.
to do like a 3D render? Yeah.
Hmm.
But no, I wouldn't be able to do GPT doesn't do motion with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So only Sora does. But
Yeah.
then
Sora's.
it's not there. It's not 100%.
I don't love. Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
quite.
No,
It looks very AI to me.
correct. So
Yeah.
it's not the best, is what I would say. But yeah, all other use cases too. You know how there's a bunch of websites now that sell like AI headshots where you're like, hey, give it 10
Yep.
pictures of someone. I saw another thread on Twitter of somebody doing that. Like, you can just upload a bunch of pictures of you to GPT and say, hey, give me a like a new headshot in a studio background, put me in a tuxedo, blah blah blah, and then like it gives you a pretty sick headshot. So I think this just disrupted a bunch of businesses. And the thing
Definitely.
I said to Julie last night, because I was on a call or texting her at like 9 p.m. talking about this shit, I was like, I feel it's pretty funny how everything is moving to create a strategy. Because I'm like, media buyers already 2, 3 years ago. I've been saying it for a while now with all the changes with media buying have kind of been forced to move to create a strategy to stay relevant. Uh,
Hmm.
Editors, though, we're still doing about pretty much the same thing as usual. But now, why do you need a static editor when you have something like this? So if an editor wants to stay alive, especially if all they do is Photoshop and no video editors are still probably, good job wise for a little bit. But you're like, if you're a
Yeah.
static editor, then we don't need you as much. So you got to move to
I
create a strategy also.
100%. Also, I mean, it makes you wonder with video editors, how far away are we from an AI tool which can maybe not do it, front to end or like completely like full service, but it can basically create like you can prompt it to say, hey, I want you to match this editing style. Give an example. Here's my files, here's my clips that I want you to do. Here's a script. Press a button, it'll be able to kind of, with a few tweaks and a few edits afterwards, give you a very, very good, video edit that you'd be paying somebody triple the price to do. I wonder how far we are away from that.
Well,
I know Icon kind of has that,
I was
right?
gonna say that. Yeah, Icon is the
Yeah,
closest to what we have to that. Yeah.
yeah,
So it not only, I mean, Icon is a step further. It finds the right B-roll, it puts the right captions, it follows pacing rules of like cut every second.
yeah,
It's as close, the closest thing that we have to what you're talking about is Icon.
yeah.
So it's not perfect, but it almost is
Do
with it.
you it is Icon a chat like like using GPT wrapper essentially for most of its features, or do you know if
I
it's
have no clue what API
okay?
they use in the background.
Yeah,
It cannot be, it's not proprietary technology, that's for sure. But
no,
what API, or it probably is different APIs to the they use. I'm sure they might be using some of Anthropic's, so Claude for text. I don't know exactly
yeah,
what APIs they use because they have to do voice generation, image generation, video generation, also content recognition, text. So it might all be OpenAI because all those APIs exist from OpenAI, but I don't know.
yeah. I think they mentioned Sora um actually on
Yeah,
on one of their
the
website
demos.
pages. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. But
yeah.
yeah, no. Have so would you do you think like well, first of all, so do you think Icon I you probably talked about it a while ago when I was more absent, but do you think it's like everyone's talking about the price? I think personally it's definitely worth the price. Do you think there's a point where it's not worth the price, like for maybe a brand or I don't know, an agency doing under a certain amount, or do you think it's like really a tool to invest in for anybody?
I mean, yeah, now they did bump it up quite a bit. The first initial launch founder
Yeah,
that they had was ridiculous. I think it was 9.99 for a year, which came down to
yeah,
less than $100 a month. So for
yeah,
that, 100% worth it. Whoever got that deal, kudos because that's crazy. Right now at 400 a month, I mean, they're on par with something like Incense, as an example, who costs right around that just to find some real UGC creators. And I don't have an exact answer for you, but I would probably say, if I'm just a beginner with like not a lot of money and cash to get started, I don't know if I would go with Icon. I would rather the GPT subscription, focus on static ads for the most part, maybe get something like ArcAds, and I'll do
mhm,
my, I'll do my own editing and whatnot. So I feel like you can save money a little bit with that, but um, I would most agencies I think it's worth it. And brands who pump out, I don't know what this number is, but a certain amount of ads because it gets to a
yeah,
point where I mean it like after a while you have made so many ads, you've got so many content creators that you work with, all this content. It's like you don't want to not use it and you want to keep just repurposing this content, put it together, but then how do you remember you have this content? So what I like, it's like what they do their feature like Recharm, which Recharm technically
yeah,
is does that, as a standalone, highlights,
right.
content with AI so you can easily like search through the existing assets you have. There's a lot that can be done with it.
Yeah.
So
Do you think the creative analytics tool that's like supposed to basically replace Motion you know, is actually as good as Motion or on
Yeah.
par with it?
Yeah. Just
You
like
do.
I'd be
Hmm.
afraid too if I was Motion. Atria, as an example,
Yeah,
Atria's tool for
yeah,
creative analytics, I feel is as good, if not better than Motion. And
for sure,
tenth of the price for what it is. So
for sure.
yeah.
It's pretty sick how you can just basically spy on your competitors, find some of their best ads, and then duplicate, like basically click a button and have it export or pull the script, replace, the keywords with like your branded keywords or whatever you need to change about the script. And then you have a template to recreate that ad for your brand. And obviously there's a little bit of work involved, but
Yeah.
I think that feature alone, even for beginners, obviously it's definitely pricey for beginners, but that feature is I mean, that's just you're cutting your time in half with like creative ideation and scripting and all that.
Well, and this is when I wouldn't call it like an ethical debate, but more of like where the space is headed to. Because what everyone has been saying in the last year or two, it's like both on the agency and on the brand side, it has never been this easy to, get
Yeah,
started. Like there's the
yeah,
barrier to entry is so low, and I just think it's getting lower and lower. So
for
level
sure.
one of going back to the three levels of ad creation that I've been speaking about in Ad Engine for a couple of years now, I say copying or kind of stealing is that first level in there where that for
Right.
sure AI does it. I mean, you can steal anybody's ads and swap out your product inside of it. So that takes before you needed to have a half decent editor from a third world country to help you kind of achieve, stealing an ad. Now you can do that for 20 bucks a month with GPT and do that within a couple seconds. So it's easier
Yeah.
than ever. Second thing, formulation. So you take a framework and turn that into an ad. We're there with something like Icon or some even with GPT. If you just paste in a framework like
Yeah.
I did from earlier from Atria, you'll have it make you a new ad from there.
Yeah.
So framework is there. So then you're left with like, okay, ideation. I think it's like, how can you? Because everything I've mentioned comes from somewhere. It's like, hey, copy this or swap out the product and whatnot. So it's like, how do you actually create something completely new that hasn't been seen out there, which will be
Hmm.
with prompt engineering. But to create a good prompt, you have to understand what it is that you want to create, which you have to still
Right.
understand the fundamentals. So I think this makes my job of selling Ad Engine, I think, even easier nowadays because it's like the only thing you're fucking left with is fundamentals. Like, what else do you want to do at this point? You don't need an editor. You
Yeah.
don't need nothing else. You just need to understand the game.
Yeah. I think honestly, like you said, the first step is stealing. I think this the way that everything is looking with AI and just with the barrier of entry, like you said, being lower than ever, it also just means that people for in the ecom space, people with really good products with a really good, strong back end operation
Mm-hmm.
and with better marketing fundamental skills, they're just going to be, they're going to stand out from all the
Yeah.
noise, kind of in the bottom of the barrel. I like to call it, or like the bottom feeders. But
Yep.
yeah, it's there's going to be almost nothing original anymore, though.
No.
Like I already see it on Facebook ad
Mm-hmm.
library. It's wild.
And I'd be scared because let's say I'm a drop shipper. What a drop shipper is, it's based off of opportunities. It's someone who needs to catch a
Yep,
trend fast and launch something fast and go to market and squeeze out as much money as possible before then being, wiped out. That
exactly.
model is easier than ever to launch now. It's
Yep,
like, again, you can just fucking steal an ad, get it, live and up and running within a couple of minutes. And so, yeah, I'm like, if fuck, you're gonna have to be faster than fast
yep,
to pump money out of drop shipping. So I agree with you that just like in anything, going back to editors, right? It's like if all you were doing is executing on ads sent to you by a creative strategist and you never thought
hmm,
for yourself about making ads, yeah,
yep,
of course you're being
yep,
wiped out. But if you're an editor who already started to transition towards creative strategy, you understand the backbone of the ads and what you're editing, then okay, now you can like suddenly you're more productive. You can work more on strategy than editing. You'll still have to do a little bit of editing, but barely any because now you can use more of AI. And so the goods become better and the bad, become worse. So,
for sure.
yeah, I think just the gap is becoming, much wider.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's a crazy world out there with AI. I think it's happening faster than people realize too. I've said this many times, but I think most like even entrepreneurs that I'm talking to seem to like they're not things are happening really fast, really, really fast.
Yep, 100%. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, if you are an ecom or info business wanting to partner with a paid ads partner on Meta, Google, or TikTok, check out the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com. And on the other hand, if you want to work one-on-one with me and have me review your paid ads, your funnels, offer, name it, and to learn from our own ad strategies at paidadvertising.com, check out the second link down below to join my Ad Engine Inner Circle program. On that note, going to shoot an amazing day. Check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.